Welcome to the first episode of Friday I'm in Bed with me, Kate. And
Me, Jem?
we thought we would share a little bit in this episode about who we are, what to expect, what's the plan. And yeah, it's quite exciting. I can't believe we're finally doing it, Gemma.
No, me either. And I like in that you're pretending we have a plan of some kind as well.
We do. We do have a plan. So let's start with, yeah, Gemma, why don't you just tell everybody about you and a bit of your story, and I'll do the same. And then it might become relevant why we're talking about the things we're talking about.
My name's Jem. I'm 46. I am child-free by choice, but also by circumstance. In 2021, I was diagnosed with an incurable blood cancer after one of the vertebrae in my spine collapsed, and everyone was just like, "Oh, you've got a bad back over the pandemic," and I was like, "I told you it hurt." So, and that put me into medical menopause. So I got shoved straight off of the edge. I am a personal trainer. I like running. I like going to the gym. And I know that's controversial, especially with you, Kate. And I have two pug babies.
Whereabouts do you live?
I live in Norwich. There you go. Out in the sticks, except it's not. It's actually a city. It's the sticks to anyone who lives in London.
Yeah, Norwich is beautiful and it's full of independent shops and cobbled streets. Like, let's not
It
play it
is. It
down. It's
is.
a really lovely
It
place.
is gorgeous. If you go to the right, I absolutely love Norwich. I live here by choice as well. It's not where I was born. So I was born down south in Kent. So how about you? Tell us about yourself.
So I'm Kate. I'm 53, postmenopausal, and I live in Bedfordshire with my husband and my two teenagers and my two sausage dogs. So we both have two dogs each, I believe. I am a marketeer by my background is in marketing, and I spend a lot of time online ranting about ageism. I help businesses be not ageist and just try and spread the word that aging isn't something to fear, it's something to celebrate. I don't go to the gym, but I do like yoga. I love rock music. I go to a lot of gigs. That's probably where my money gets spent. I love vintage fashion and vintage interiors, which actually is the link between you and me, isn't it?
So many, many years ago, back in 2007, in the dark days of the internet, I started a vintage fashion blog called Retro Chick, which I ran for many years. Was pretty successful in the blogging and vintage heyday. I did things like actually went to London Fashion Week, citing TV shows and all that kind of thing. And you did similar, and that's how we met.
Yeah, so myself and my husband, set up a vintage shop in 2008 when my son was born as a way of kind of earning extra pennies. It started off as like an eBay shop, then we had a website, then we did sort of fairs and festivals around the country, vintage festivals, but also things like the Clothes Show Live. Then I started blogging. I remember a friend of mine came round and said, "You know what you should be doing, Kate? You should be blogging." I think it was about 2009. And I was like, what is a blog? Like, I did not know what a blog was. And she said, you can share your life. And I was like, share my life? How strange. And so off I went because I always do as I'm told. Well, I used to do as I was told, less so now. And I set up a blog. And at the start, it was about the products we were selling. So I'd write, if we had a table for sale, I'd write about the table, how to style it or whatever, how to restore it, and that helped sell the product. But then from there, I started sharing more of my life. And funnily enough, me saying, why would I want to share my life? Now, social media is a massive part of what I do, and I share a lot of my life. And back then, it seemed like really an odd thing to be doing.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I haven't blogged since before I got ill, but I've been using Instagram a lot, and I do like to overshare. I think at least I know what a podcast is before I started blogging, before I started doing it, because I'm pretty sure that I didn't know what a blog was before I started doing it either. I was just about, that sounds good. Okay, let's do that. So yeah, at least, yeah, I've got to step up on this one, but yeah, just another oversharing opportunity maybe. Or what else? What else are we going to talk about, Kate?
Well, the idea of the podcast, well, actually, before I say what the idea of what we're going to do is, let's talk about the name. Friday, I'm in bed. Obviously, I'm not in bed. I'm sitting on the sofa, as are you. But yeah, we thought Friday I'm in Love by The Cure. We both like our music, but both like 90s girls.
Our 90s indie music.
Absolutely. So, and it was kind of like Friday, I'm in bed. And obviously one doesn't spend the whole of Friday in bed, but it's a play on the fact that whilst I want to, or we want to, and I know you want to like live your best life and do stuff, there's also something wonderful about getting home and putting your pajamas on and going to bed. Whereas, gone are the days of like being out till 4 in the morning. Actually, I'm quite happy to be in bed at 10.
I am incredibly enthusiastic and passionate about living life to the full between the hours of, say, 10 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Yeah, and I like napping. So I am really into nap. Myself and my husband, we nap. We go back to sleep like after the working day for an hour or something. Like or on Sunday afternoon I go back to bed. I'm really into napping. I think it's really good for you.
See, I do use cancer as an excuse for this because the drugs that I'm on do give me a lot of fatigue. So yeah, so I can be like, I need a 2 p.m. nap. It's got to happen. In fact, what's the time now? Okay, yeah.
So that's where the name came from. So the podcast, we are going to take the news of the week and chat about them. But by news, I'm not talking about, the news like in the newspaper. I'm talking about the news that's in Heat magazine. I don't even know if Heat magazine is a thing anymore. Popular culture, reality TV, celebrity news, tabloid news, if you like. Things that have happened that everyone's talking about, and we thought we'd come and we'd talk about it so we can share what we think and how it relates to our life, thinking that if it relates to our life at 46 and 53, it'll probably relate to your life. And we'll have a little bit of debate and banter and moaning and disagreement.
Yeah, I think everyone's sharing opinions these days, but there is always so much focus on kind of younger, kind of people in their 20s and their 30s. And yeah, our opinions are obviously incredibly invaluable, particularly to us, but hopefully to you too.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll just take some snippets out of it. So, for example, if Jem is saying running is great, something we will be talking about very soon, you can go, yeah, I agree. And when I go, running's really not good, I hate it, you can go, I agree with that. In other words, it's okay to feel how you feel about things, particularly as, you're aging and you're navigating this time. It's a tricky time for many because, you perimenopause, menopause, work, ageism, aging parents, children, leaving home, if you've got kids or, like everyone's situation is different, but it's still quite a tough time. But it's a really exciting time. And that's what we want to talk about and inspire you to think that, it's okay to want to live your best life, but be in bed at 10.
By 10. And I just want to say, we want to hear what you think as well. We would love you to leave comments and like chime in on the conversation because it's always fascinating to hear other people's opinions to me. That's one of my favorite things about the internet is that you can just like throw that out there and hear people's opinions. So do leave a comment and follow, like, share, do all those important things that you're supposed to do. And we'll see you soon.
We will see you really soon.